For this craft, I just started out with a mini wooden crate and some fairy string lights. They usually have these at Dollar Tree at holiday time or Walmart or wherever. They just run on two AA batteries. Then I grabbed this little pin vise tool. It's really handy for drilling on small projects, so I don't have to bust out my regular drill. And since these mini wood crates are made out of a softer wood, it's pretty easy to drill through them. I just started with my smallest little drill bit there and then moved up to a medium-sized one and then finished off with the largest one in my stash. Towards the end, I had to kind of angle the pin vise at different angles to make sure I got that hole big enough. But ultimately, you want a hole just large enough that you can string your lights into the wooden crate. And then I just stained the whole wooden crate with Americana gel stain in the color oak, just all the way around the edge, but not on the inside. So only on the outside and then that top little edge there as well. But I decided not to paint on the inside because I wanted to keep it as light as possible, so as much of that light from those fairy lights could bounce around. Then once that gel stain had dried, double check, make sure that the lights are working, and then you just string them through that hole on the back of the wood crate into the inside of the crate. And then from here, I found it easiest to actually just turn the lights on so you could see that they were actually indeed evenly spaced. So I really like my fine point hot glue gun here. I'll link to it below. And I added the tiniest dab of hot glue to secure the fairy lights all the way around the inside edge of that wooden crate. And then I just used like a toothpick to kind of like secure the wire into place on the dab of hot glue while the hot glue hardened, because it was the tiniest dab, it hardened almost immediately. But by turning the fairy lights on, you're able to evenly space where the lights are located. So if you have to double back the wire a little bit or turn it into like a tiny little curl so that the light ends up not on top of another light, so be it. But just go all the way around a couple times until you reach the end of your fairy light wire there. And then for this, I just grabbed a flexible cutting mat. They come in a 2-pack at Dollar Tree, and they're kind of see-through. So that's going to be the front of our light box here. So the first thing that I did is I just traced it with a Sharpie, and then I cut just inside that Sharpie line. I didn't go all the way to the edge of the cutting mat because the edges are rounded and I wanted like square edges. Then place that little cut piece on the wooden crate and trim it down ever so slightly until it fits just inside that edge there. You want it to lay nicely but not overhang the edge of the wood crate at all. And then we got to put something on the front of our light box here. So these rub-on transfers came from Dollar Tree, so you can use any rub-on transfer you like. If you have a Cricut and want to cut something on plain black vinyl, that works too. Just plain old sticker letters would work. But I've been wanting to use this Flower Market rub-on decal for quite a while, and so that's what I did. You just smooth it down using like a wooden popsicle stick. I will admit, getting the decal to stick on this cutting mat material took a little bit more diligence than it normally would if you were doing like on wood or paper, but I was able to get it to transfer flawlessly. You just notice like when it changes from black to like a light gray, then you know it's separated from the transfer sheet and it's actually on the surface beneath it. Like it changes color and it has a more matte look, and that's because it's separated from the transfer paper. So just kind of look for that change in color before you move on to another section or peel your transfer paper backing away. But then I just assembled everything very quickly, so I once again used my fine point hot glue gun and some dollar store twine, and I started in the bottom left-hand corner and worked my way around in small sections with the thinnest line of hot glue you can imagine. The tiniest bit of hot glue just to get that twine to make a border around the edge of that cutting mat piece to hide that edge where the cutting mat meets the wood, just to give it a more polished, finished off look all the way around the edge. But that's it. And I have to admit, I think this is probably one of my favorite craft projects I've made in quite a while. Just a little light up box that can be customized in so many different ways.